All right, GM everyone. GM Craig, how are you today, mate?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, mate, I'm good. Thanks, Greeny. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. That intro was God got you in a calming mood, hey. But
I was just about to say, I thought we were going to do a yoga session or a stretch session first.
homie, I just wanted to meditate with that intro, hey. Might need
Shit, I
to
was
change.
sleepy. I was like, man, I thought
Oh,
I should have some crystals out. And
getting your Zen mode, mate. Getting your Zen mode, yeah.
yeah, I just needed some Lululemon and then we'd be ready to go.
GM to everyone who's here, guys. Obviously, please let us know in the chat if you are here, GM. Obviously, if you are new here, please subscribe to both Craig and I on YouTube. Alternatively, if you're watching on Twitter, follow us both here. Obviously, you can see our handles in the description. And obviously, like the video, guys, because we do this every single week. So, Craig, talk to me. What are you looking at the markets? We're very much in a consolidation sort of phase at the moment with crypto. So I'm very curious to see how we sort of play out before the halvening. In my opinion, we probably consolidate and probably just go up and down until that. So that's still probably what, 2.5 months away. So what are your thoughts around current market conditions and that side of things?
Yeah, yeah, similar to you, just having a look at Bitcoin. I was just having a quick look before we jumped on. It looks like it's still chopping sideways.
Yeah.
And I think we're at that sort of really sort of boring part at the moment where not everything is just going between the zones in that channel.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because it's doing that, although it's not necessarily a bad thing for everyone who feels like they're not in position, it's at least gives us time to still accumulate.
Yeah.
And altcoins are just bouncing between their channels as well. So a little bit boring for those out there that want some pumping action. So
Yeah.
I've just been accumulating the old spot alt bag, and then focusing a bit more at the moment on NFTs and ordinals, which seem to be getting good volume.
Yeah.
And then probably I see a lot of people talking about base at the moment. I don't know if you've sort of picked it up.
Yeah, it has come across the timeline. Yeah.
As of yesterday, it sort of started to get heavily shilled in the group chat. So normally when that happens to me, that's sort of an indicator. I need to at least see why.
Yeah.
But no, just a short answer is a little bit choppy sideways. And I think probably a frustrating time at the moment for most traders. So this is probably where traders probably make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because you try to overplay your hand. So yeah, for me personally, same thesis. Nothing's changed, man. Accumulate the altcoins I want, and then do a few punts on the side until the market reveals its hand. So yeah, a little bit boring, but it's lots in the wider market to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Even though price action might not be in like going up quite drastically at the moment, there's still so much to be doing right now. And Craig and I were talking about it just yesterday in our DMs, just about different ways you can go about the market at the moment, guys. And it's still like there's still potential out there every single day. And I think while the market is maybe quieter, this is when it's all about research. It's all about finding those gems, finding those NFT collections that are secretly building, finding those altcoins that are undervalued or that have come down quite significantly, and then just having that longer term conviction plays, because I do think a lot of the time, a lot of people are very degenerate. Look, we both are. Don't get me wrong, but I think in the same time, people will probably lack a bit of patience with crypto. And you got to remember, guys, like we just come out of a 2-year bear market, so we've been up only since, let's say, October. So that was about a 4-month, 5-month up, and it's time to just chill. And like the halvening's still coming. There's I've got 3 articles I want to talk about just soon, just regarding what's happening in the crypto world. So like it's not only the Web 2 interest, but it's the Web 3 interest that guys, just stay patient, and I'm sure we will all succeed in time. So yeah, lots to talk about. We'll talk about ordinals today. We'll talk about Farcaster, because I know that Craig jumped onto that, so I definitely want to dive into that, because that's again one of those social fi sort of platforms that could take off in time. I want to talk obviously just normal NFTs across all blockchains. I want to talk about meme coins. I want to talk about altcoins, and I want to talk about airdrops as well, because I think that's obviously a hot topic at the moment. Obviously, we've had Jupiter drop last week, and we saw that honestly the market didn't really respond that positively to Jupiter. And And I think a lot of people either still have it locked up or they haven't claimed it yet because maybe some people got a large allocation. And if not, a lot of people took profits. So it's very interesting time in the crypto world. And I think that's often some of the most exciting times because it means people start to switch off. They start to miss opportunities, and they do maybe go away, and then they miss the pump, and then they come back when the pump happens, and so they've missed the opportunity to actually get back into the market, Craig. So we might start with just a few articles to begin with. Let me just pull these up. So this one here, which will come up on the screen very shortly, is just about Web 2 interests. And let me just taking a second. Here we go. All right. So it's about Bitcoin ETFs see a 700 million net flow into BlackRock Fidelity, offsetting the GBTC outflows. And as you can see on the chart here, guys, there's a lot of capital interest coming into the BTC ETFs, which is great to see. Obviously, in months to come, we'll have the Ethereum ones. And then obviously, hopefully we'll have some altcoin ones, maybe Solana, AVAX, that sort of thing might get in it. But what I'm seeing here, and this is really important because this will show you capital inflow from these huge funds, right? And then if these are positive, then retail, who are your Web 2 normies, will start to see that positive price action. So that's definitely one that I like to keep my eye on, Craig. I don't know if you keep your eye on the ETF side of things.
Yeah, look, a little bit. Sort of what you just said at the tail end there sort of is the thing that I've been sort of bullish on, is the fact that these big institutions can not only lure, for lack of a better word, investors into crypto, but also the fact they will pump money into marketing and advertising.
That's it.
So I've seen Google, on Google now, it was illegal for those who haven't been in the industry very long or been in crypto very long. You couldn't advertise crypto a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was illegal. Well, their terms and conditions didn't allow it. So for AdWords and things like that, you couldn't have a company like a bank, search mortgage, and you'll see the top sort of 5 AdWords are going to be, your big banks. Now, when you search crypto, or not even crypto necessarily, investing rather, you're going to have these big companies pumping massive amounts of money into marketing, making sure that crypto's everywhere you look. So that's going to catch retail eyes, and the more they see that marketing or that advertising, the more crypto just becomes normal over time. And that's when you're going to get your mums and dads and grandmas going, and look, it's going to take time, but it's not as long as not when I say it's going to take time, not that long.
What's your time frame? What do you think? I just pull up this article because it leads nicely into what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What's your time frame for? Let's go with say over 50K, and then obviously next all-time high.
Over 50K, I think it's going to be. I'm going to say April, May, or June.
Yep.
And then all-time high, I think we might be waiting possibly till next year.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Fair.
Possibly, or towards the tail end of this year. But all-time high, I'm not too sure. But I haven't actually looked that far ahead. But the 50K, I'm thinking sort of April, May, or June.
Yeah, very interesting.
What are your thoughts?
I kind of agree. I think we don't push all-time high before halvening. I just think the conditions, the macro doesn't really get us there. Even though I did say that maybe a month ago, because we were in better conditions then. But right now the macro, we still have the stock market pushing all-time highs and that sort of thing. We've seen rates in America be a bit different to rates here in Australia. So it's still an interesting time. I don't think it's fully risk on just yet. And obviously with the halvening brings a lot more interest and a lot more capital. And as it says on the screen here, guys, until we start to maybe see that the US sort out their side of things in terms of the election and in terms of the macro environment, that's when I think we become more interested in risk on assets again. So I'd say 50K around halvening. And as we lead up into the halvening, I think we maybe do push up above 50. I think all-time highs by I'd even say mid-year to September. I think we're a bit more aggressive. I think we are still front-running a lot of the market in terms of where we actually started from, and that's shown in the chart. So maybe we do front-run maybe the cycle, and maybe the cycle doesn't actually end up going all the way deep into 2026. So that's my two cents on it. The last article I wanted to just show is the Taproot Wizards. Let's see if it comes through. Excellent. Yeah, so Taproot Wizards recovers from the tech debut after selling 11 million in their Quantum Cats collection. So as you can see on this screen here, so that minted out, I think it was, so just yesterday or today, sorry, America. It's always confusing when you're in bloody Australia, hey? But
Yeah.
this is really interesting. And I think I'm very curious to see how these play out, because obviously we've got the Wizards coming soon. Craig, did you get allocated for this? Are you looking to pick one up on secondary? What's your thoughts around this?
I didn't get allocated for it. I see they were up for sale. I think you could get a whitelist for a couple of grand US.
Yeah.
That was getting sold. I didn't. The main reason for it is I didn't want to put four grand US into something on a launch. Man, me personally, I thought that was a bit greedy. I don't know what you think, Greeny, but I was like, Jesus Christ, 4.5 grand US, which for us Australians is, you're edging towards $7,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
To mint something. Like, what's their roadmap? What are they even? What's the promises for this thing? And from what I mean, and don't get me wrong, I've seen a lot of people are bullish on this, e.g., people in the ordinal space, people that aren't in the ordinal space. What I'm waiting to see is, because this effectively got delayed about a week with the minting issues, what secondary does, in reflection to that delay, whether that delay hurts secondary and people are a bit more gun shy. Because I sort of feel if this had minted out the box about a week ago when it was meant to, I feel momentum and eyes were on it. Even mine were. Whereas due to this delay, I've been, it's funny. You had all these Coke plays come out, which you would have seen me shilling on the timeline. They flew, gave us a few nice 5-10x's. I don't know, man. I sort of feel my appetite's been, I've sort of been filled up with this. So I don't know. I know a lot of people are into it. I know a lot of people minted it. A lot of people are very bullish. I was just gun shy due to the price.
I think that's fair. And I think, spending about 5 grand US, let alone 7 grand Australian on a undisclosed sort of what's their purpose? It's not even the Premier Collection. It's the Taproot Wizards is the Premier Collection, right? And so that's where I would probably lean against that sort of thing. And that's where something like this, which we did discuss last week, is a much stronger play, right? And so I know you got in before me, you got in a bit lower, but you're seeing these all over the timelines. And shout outs to the Puppets community. We're both part of it. Obviously, we're very busy in their Discord as well. So this is, in my opinion, a much better play. You could have copped 2 Bitcoin puppets at the same time and then swing traded them for nearly a 2x inside 3 days. So there's better plays, and that I think we talk about this often, Craig, and I think a lot of people build up hype for these new collections. We obviously had the crypto undeads on Solana recently. We've had now obviously the cats here. We had derivative plays of Solana of the cats and that type of thing. But you want to have those conviction plays. You want to have those collections that have strong communities, that have authentic utility in whatever way that they're doing it. And so that's why I think it's risk to reward. Okay, what's the better play with that amount of money?
Yeah, like you just said. I mean, how many puppets they've had a bit of a retracement. Obviously, they had all-time high. I think it was about 0.075.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep, 7.5. Yeah.
And then they pulled back to about 0.060, which is not a massive pullback, to be honest. No. I was sort of waiting for that. I was actually really interested to see if they cracked the 0.1 or not. I picked they wouldn't. Actually, did quite well on this. I sort of predicted between 0.07 and 0.08. So, shit, that's not bad, really. Right on the money, man. Yeah. What's interesting to me is seeing where this bottoms out, for lack of a better word, which I think is probably not far off from now. Yeah. But as far as plays go, man, I'd much rather have a whole bunch of puppets in my wallet than one of those cats, man. One of those cats is just too much for me, too much money relying on it. I mean, what's the catalyst for it? What
exactly?
What does the team need to say to pump that versus puppets, where for me personally, a cultural play like puppets is just so much easier or safer for me, because like you said, it's just everywhere on your timeline.
Yeah.
And things like that. And that's with the artist not even pumping his bags, man.
That's it. And that's okay. That's what I love, dude. Okay. And like you said, and this is what we talked about last week on stream, there's so many different ways NFT collections can accumulate buyers, get interest, get hype, that sort of thing. And what I loved about the Bitcoin puppets is that it was a fair launch. It was not hyped. It was all community driven. It's very authentic. The engagement is very authentic. It's individuals expanding the identity of them, the art of them, with all the memes that you see on the timeline, the memes in the Discord, the community supporting one another. I had a bunch of people, like from people who had 500 followers to people that have 50,000 followers on Twitter, just supporting me from that community. And that's just like, you just don't get that in a lot of communities these days. And like we've spoken about this with in terms of the apes as well, like their engagement is far down. So it's just great to see it. And obviously if the analytics side, so if the chart looks good, the listings are going down, then of course, like it's a no-brainer play in a time like this where the market is trending sideways. And like you said at the top of the show, Craig, it's when the market is going sideways is when you want to be probably trying to get into NFTs and flip and swing NFTs, because that's when they like to trend really aggressively. And I would say meme coins, if there's enough liquidity and volume in those particular meme coins. And we will get to meme coins later in the show, guys. But yeah, if you see here, guys, I do agree with Craig. I got in, I think it was 0.045 on the show last week. I did sell one at about that 0.7 range because I did started to see that the listings were going up. Mickey Lee's just asked, what do you think how do they play out longer term? I think they play out very successfully, just for the reasons that I just discussed. And if you look at the chart, guys, like that's a very bullish chart. Like you got high, low. Obviously after a big pump, like that's probably, if you caught the bottom, that's a 2x straight to there in Bitcoin. So like if you pick up 5, that's quite a lot of Bitcoin. Okay. And then it's retraced nice and healthy already. So I'd have to do some percentages, but yeah, basically it nearly hit. You had some sales of about 0.08 BTC. It's back down to 0.6 BTC at the moment. And if you look at the floor, it's around 0.62. You've got 6 buys pending. Listings were up to 1.2k, so they are starting to come down. So again, this is when Craig or I like to swing trade back into it. So I still own one because I was happy to hold one longer term. But this is when I go, okay, I've saved myself about 0.01 or 0.015 Bitcoin by just swing trading it, and then I'll look to maximize my profit moving forward again.
Exactly the same as me. And with this price action now, I was the same as you, Greeny. So I grabbed 2. My entry on the first was 0.030. So I sold at 0.70, so 2x and some change. In Bitcoin, it's actually quite nice change, isn't it?
It is.
You start earning money pretty quickly, man, on Bitcoin NFTs moving. But so basically, I flipped the one. So I'm basically riding free because the profit on the one's paid for my second effectively, give or take about 500 US. So I'm plus the cat I minted. So I'm basically break even on these bad boys.
Yeah, true. And that's the other side of the coin. Obviously, we have some art and some other artists in the space, some other communities in the space who are launching on ordinals, giving access to puppets and to the frogs and stuff. And it's obviously a better play being in the puppets because it's a lower entry to potentially get some of those rewards. Okay, so it's really interesting. But look, I do agree. I'm not trying to fade the cats here, as Crypto No G says on the screen. But I think like, in the time of the market right now, I'd rather see how they perform after they are dropped, after they hit secondary, see if there's interest. Obviously, if they trend down, I probably would look to maybe swing trade the cats. But I think because it's coming out and it's not the premier collection, like the Wizards really are the premier collection, I would be more keen on investing in the Wizards, minting them rather than trying to mint a cat. And I mean, the art's like not bad. The cat art's kind of clean too, but I do think that the conviction plays are maybe in the market conditions with the proven collections that have already been out for a while.
I sort of, Bitcoin or ordinals is an interesting one for me. I mean, looking at the cats from a distance, I'm not sure I can see. I mean, and I may be wrong here, and it's no hate to the cats. I don't know if I'm going to see too many cat PFPs out there with the communities rallying, doing memes and bantering. To me, it seems like a high-priced drop that those in the know got to copper whitelist, and it's kind of like a flex. It's a kind of a flex on driving a Ferrari, right? It's sort of saying, "Hey, look, I've got money." But will the rest of the community that didn't get to copper decide to rally around that and feel that sense of envy or whatever to drive the price up, or will people like me just go, man, miss that one, onto the next, and just like art gobblers or whatever, a slow bleed out over time, with a few pumps in between? Or will the community with cats rally around it, drive it hard? I don't know, man. I'm not seeing too many PFPs of the cats. Are you? Are you seeing any?
No, I
represent.
haven't seen much at all on the timeline,
Yeah,
and honestly, I didn't even see that there was a delayed mint. So that just shows you again what's kind of happening. And like, and again, like the puppets got access to these, the RSIC, which is obviously I know you know a little bit more about this, Craig, than I do. But if you look at this chart, guys, like these
he's
outpace the puppets. Like these are outpacing the puppets, and the technology potentially behind what this is actually going to do. If you look into it, it's actually pretty crazy if they do come through. And say
yeah.
what they're going to do. So very interesting at the moment. Do you want to speak about this, Craig? Actually, because you definitely know a lot more about
Yeah,
this side of the market
I
than I
mean,
do.
I'm not super familiar with it. I mean, I know effectively you're mining or what's the word, accruing ruin.
Yeah,
However you
yeah,
say
rune specific inscriptions. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's the kind of play on Bitcoin at the moment. Is everybody's scrambling to get a bigger allocation of ruin when it comes out.
yeah,
And I think that's going to be a big catalyst, potentially, just like we thought maybe Jupe would have been,
yeah,
bringing liquidity to the Bitcoin ordinal market. But I think it's, for me personally, I'm a lot more bullish on it than I was for Jupe.
yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin has never had anything like this.
Correct. Yeah,
So this isn't the first. For other chains, they've had drops before, Blur, etc.
yeah,
For Bitcoin, this is a first. Plus the tech behind it, plus the fact this was dropped for free to
yes,
certain other communities. So now you've got those communities backing it as a. It's interesting, right? Sometimes dropping things for free is a bad idea, and sometimes it's a great idea. And this is one of the times I think it's slapped. And you've now got the puppets community who are so loud and so
yeah,
loyal, where this is what's so smart about puppets, rallying behind this collection,
yeah.
driving eyes to it, driving hype to it. It's just free marketing. And yeah, these have sent, man. Like when I
Dude,
first saw these, they were 0.03, and I
yeah,
thought I missed the boat. And I think they
yeah.
went to 0.1, man.
I think they did pump over point 0.1. You've got 58 buys pending right now. So the floor
Jesus.
is 0.94 already. So they're up already in the last sort of 24 hours or so. Like look at this. There's sales like this reminds me of ETH days in the top of the market, man.
It's for me at the moment, ordinals is reminding me of NFTs on ETH and 21.
Yes,
And it
agreed.
just absolutely stinks of it, man. You can just see there's a lot of money in this ecosystem, eh?
Yes,
Like
yes.
that's what I'm noticing with Bitcoin. I'm like, man, people don't mind dropping 4K. Whereas what I find on ETH at the moment, people are quite gun shy, myself
Yeah,
included, man. I'm hesitant to drop an ETH on anything on
yeah,
Ethereum.
yeah.
Whereas throw an ordinal at me. What would the effective, whatever it is, 0.1, maybe a bit less than 0.1 on I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
So my risk tolerance on ordinals is just higher.
Speak of the puppets. This is live on the show, guys. They
Jumping up,
just have been
really
swept to
and
0.07
I've been waiting.
BTC.
I was just
Dude, I know
begging
we
for
just
the drop.
dude, we just spoke about it at 0.062.
You bastards.
I went to open it as a new tab to switch to my Bitcoin wallet, and they're pumped. I don't want to buy one at 0.7.
Nah, bro, that's my exit. God damn it! Do you know what I was waiting for? Just discreetly, I was begging for under 0.05.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to go back in.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll keep an eye on it. If they do go under 0. I think around that 0.065 is probably a good accumulation zone because that's nearly a 2x to 0.1. Like you think about it, 0.05 Bitcoin, like that's a lot of money. So, like that's probably, I can't do it off the top of my head. What's that, like $4,000 or something, $5,000, something like that?
It's decent, bro. And the good thing, like we were talking about with Bitcoin, even if that doesn't 2x,
yeah,
even if it goes to the 0.1, it can still put $2,000 US in your pocket, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah,
not bad. When you start swinging with Bitcoin here, you can actually get, provided you get the right collection, because you can get wrecked.
Yeah,
puppets. I mean, for me personally, and I mean, I've only got one, so I'm not pumping my bow. I wish I had 10.
Same.
But I've not financial advice. I see this going 0.1 relatively soon, unfortunately for me, and you bastards just pumping that bloody ordinal. I'm like, no.
Let's say we've got an influence in this space, Matt. We caused this pump, all right? We just took it from 0.062 to 0.7, so 0.7. So yeah, really interesting. Just Mickey's just asked a quick question just regarding my group. Yes, monthly subscriptions for my group are opening up later this week. So super excited to get that up. just final touches for that. But yeah, it'll be limited supply. So I'm thinking around 100 people. Price will be disclosed just once it's on the website, guys. So yeah, do keep an eye out for that. That is opening up again soon. Craig is part of my group, so it's great to have Craig in there as well, guys. But yeah, as you can see here, there's so much volume. Like this is on the last 10 minutes in the ordinal space. And look at all this. Like this is volume. Like you got 5 BTC on the RSICs. You've got 2 BTC in the Bitcoin puppets, right? No bunkies are nearly at 0.5 of BTC. So there's so much volume here. And if you can learn it, then there's just so much potential, Craig. And I know that you and a couple others of the alpha groups that I'm in, shout out to Diamond in the Divine community as well. You two have really shown me that there's quite a degenerate side to the Bitcoin as well, the ordinal space as well, with a few collections that are either spin-offs out of the community, like we spoke about regarding the puppets, or other sort of just upcoming communities that need a bit of love from other communities in the ordinal space. So you can still be quite a degenerate, and you don't need too much BTC to have some of these plays. I'll see if I can find some, Craig. But do you want to speak about a little bit about that side of the space compared to maybe more of these conviction higher entry sort of zones on BTC?
Yep, sure. So the ones I've been looking at are, smaller plays that kind of fit in with the ecosystem of puppets. I just felt puppets being the loudest community. Anything that would get you a whitelist or an airdrop to a lesser degree than puppets are things like you'll see titanium, Cheetos. That's one of the collections that has in the past got whitelists the same as puppets, but just less. Another one was the derps. So derps is another ruin. I don't even know what to say. Mining, like what?
Yeah.
Play. The only catch with derps is to activate that ordinal, you basically have to wash trade it.
Yeah.
So it's a gamified ordinal in that you increase the rarity of it by listing it and it being sold. The more times it's sold, it's theorized the more whitelists, the more airdrops, or the bigger ruin allocation you'll receive.
Yeah.
The thing that makes me bullish about that one is I've spoken to a few people about the dev behind it, and they just said he's a very, very accomplished dev. He's been in the space a long time. He's well regarded. So what I mean by that, he's got a reputation to lose.
Yeah.
And he's very savvy, and he's worked on a lot of high-end projects, and this is his project. So he's worked on a lot of high-end ones, and now this is his one. So what I tend to find in the space, if you've got a dev with a reputation who's finally doing something for themselves that they're putting their name to, and he's actually tweeting or posting from his personal account about it. He hasn't created an account solely for that play. Yep. So his name's all over it, man. So if it turns to shit, well, so I like that play. It's a cheap play to get into ruins. I like the Cheetos play because it's a more cost-effective play versus the puppets. I think Cats is probably a good play now. It's Greeny, I know you and I. Did you get into it?
No, I didn't. I was busy out and about doing some other jobs, but no, I did keep an eye on it. I'll pull them up as well.
Yeah, that was a good flip, man. I think that was about 50 US, and I sold it about 300.
Yeah, they're 300 right now. So yeah.
Yeah, so that not that one. Sorry,
not that one.
You know the Cats that the puppets got whitelist for.
Dude, those ones. Hold on, let me. Oh yeah. What are those called?
A 0034, you'll see them at. They went to 0060.
Here we go. Yep.
So I suspect these will probably get, whitelists ongoing.
Again, look at the sales.
Yeah.
Look at the sales, man.
So anything in that sort of, so the Cats, the Cheetos, the derps, they're all in that sort of puppet ecosystem where they all prop each other up.
Yeah.
So you're kind of if you're thinking shit, the puppets are a bit expensive.
Yeah.
One of those Cats is probably not a bad play because it's so tightly infused now with that ecosystem. So I probably think that's not a bad play. And at that price point, I'm almost tempted to get back in. That's half of what I flipped it for almost. So I'm like, actually that is half. So I'm like, I wouldn't mind going back in now. I quite like him. The art's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Heaps of traits, man.
I like that too. Yeah.
For me, I love the puppets. This is sort of a coat play. Well, not a coat play. That's probably the wrong word. But another bullish aspect of this collection is the artist for this collection got the first honorary of the puppets.
Yes.
So he's very well known in the puppets community, very highly regarded. And he did some. I mean, he gave this for free. This was free actually. You just had to pay for the transaction cost and the marketing, the feed cost where you minted from. So basically, artists just gave it away. So those sorts of plays there, when artists just gives it away, I quite like, because normally I find communities will culturally get around that and actually send that just almost. Sometimes communities, I feel, send that just as a what's the word? An FU to VC out there, man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. No, it's really interesting because I'll just share you this quickly because this was what was hyped on the ETH timeline, right? So you have Miladies, okay? And they're obviously that sort of meme play in which I would probably class the puppets in, okay? But on ordinal space. And then obviously if you look underneath them, they had quite a few other collections and the redacted Remilio babies, right? Plus there were some others that me and you were flipping on ETH as well a few months back as well. So it's probably the same sort of play here where if you can't afford to maybe get into the puppets, okay, which are around that 0.07 BTC at the moment, which are probably your premier collection of the meme in this kind of ecosystem, which do have access, like you've just spoken about, to different aspects on ordinal space, different communities, that sort of thing as well. Then CCO might be just the play for you.
I think so. Another thing on the puppets, they I can't remember. I wish I could. Won a token of Bitcoin. What was it? They just put a little teaser out going, basically, should we do an airdrop to puppets? So you've got other what's the word I can use? Companies, projects, whatever, noticing the hype that the puppets are getting. And obviously, similar to the Solana Saga phone, where an easy marketing thing to do really is just drop them some free shit because the Saga holders are going to pump your bags.
Yeah.
It's looking like that might be the ordinals play now, is if you're a project and you want to get some easy hype that's going to get shilled hard, drop some stuff to the puppets, man, because they're going to go ballistic. So I'm more bullish on puppets now than I was ever.
And dude, when you spoke about it last week, we spoke for a good 10-15 minutes, and honestly it interests me just from that ordinal side of space, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I think things like Bitcoin frogs and node monkeys maybe go over time, they probably pump over time, but you want to be, again, we speak about this every week, you want to be in the collections that are sort of have the spotlight on them right now. And okay, on ordinals, it's definitely got to be the puppets, and they don't have a specific, this is why I've just got this profile up on Twitter, guys. They don't have a specific Twitter page. This is the creator, the artist, etc. And he's the one that has led this community from the Netherlands, as you can see here. Le Puppeteer Foo is the handle. Love it. But yeah, like, it's such a good community to be a part of. I've really enjoyed it, and I've only been a part of it for a week, so definitely one that I'm keeping my eyes on. I think ordinals are just a great place to be. Again, like we spoke about, like, there's so much money there, there's so much volume there, and I think it's a great time as the market sort of trends sideways. Okay, it might be a better time. Like, other people like to farm airdrops. I like to buy NFTs and swing and flip NFTs, right? And I know you're the same, Craig. And that's it. So yeah, love to see it. Shout out to Mr. E, who is a puppet holder, obviously, where there as well. But yeah, guys, so ordinals is definitely one that Craig and I have been talking about, have been looking at, because I think it's just, again, like, who doesn't want to maybe accumulate a big, like, Bitcoin, right? And if I can take, like, I send, I think, maybe 0.1 Bitcoin to my wallet. If I can turn 0.1 Bitcoin into 1 Bitcoin in the space of like a few months, man, I would be a very happy man. So that's sort of what I'm looking at in that space. In terms of other plays, Craig, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about ETH NFTs, because there's a bit of silent building, and I've been posting quite a lot about recently, because I feel maybe a little bit underexposed to ETH NFTs, more so around the business sides and around the potential of some of their communities and some of their products that are coming out. And the main two that, or I could probably say three, like, the first one's obviously the Pudge ecosystem. We've spoken about that quite extensively in the past, and I do think they still continue to run leading into 2024. But the two that I do want to speak to you about, and whether you've actually done a bit of research, is Doodles and the Creeps ecosystem. Now, I shout out to a friend. I won't disclose their name, but they reached out to me over Twitter DMs. Sent me, I'm not even going to describe, like, paragraphs and paragraphs of absolute alpha around not only Creeps, but the Captain's ecosystem, so the meme land ecosystem. And so those are probably the three that I'm very curious about, because I saw something on the timeline. I'll see if I can find it. I probably won't be able to, around what Doodles have done. They've got obviously a range of different things that they've achieved over the past few months. You've seen the Doodles community really get behind them. I'm seeing them really hold this sort of 2 to 2.5 range. And I actually have always loved the art. Like, I think it's one of the most iconic art
It is.
pieces in crypto, okay, and in NFT. So I think for me, I'd love to pick up a Doodle probably under 2.3 ETH is probably my target, around that sort of range, because they did sweep down to 2.0 and have pumped back up to around that mid 2.5 level. Listings are quite steady. So I was blur farming these bids yesterday actually as well. But the Doodles is one that I just want to ask you about, Craig, as well. And then obviously Creeps as well. Now, Creeps obviously have the potential of, well, it's more than likely that they're going to have not only what else they're building in the space, but Portal, okay? And Portal is a huge coin. We all saw that go across the timeline. I'm going to say maybe even 3 months ago. It's been quite a while since I've seen it. And so there is rumors that the Creeps ecosystem, a Creep will qualify for it at the moment. And so and that's supposedly dropping in about a couple weeks' time from memory. So again, this is another ecosystem. I'm not sure, Craig, if you've spent too much time or if you've seen this on the timeline, and you can obviously stake it for other rewards in the future as well. But they have only 153 listed from their 10K selection. So not only that, you've got the analytics, you've got the community side of it, which is very strong. Both these two communities, Doodles and Creeps, have a lot of interest on Twitter. But what I am looking at is obviously the more utility side of them as well, Craig. I'm not sure if you've looked at these two at all.
I haven't. I have heard, or I have come across, a lot. There's been a bit of hype around both the collections you just mentioned. I know, was it Nifty Portal talking about Doodles sort of semi recently?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but
yeah,
they were starting to look at it a bit more, and I know the price had sort of appreciated on both of these, but I just haven't looked at them much. But they are the two that I suppose if you're looking for something cheaper than a Pudgy,
yes,
that looks like it could rally. Those are probably the two. But I just haven't dived in it all. So out of the two, which one for you is the one you reckon to really lock in on?
I think for me, I was talking to this guy in the DMs, and I'll add captains to that as well, because the 9gag, he is very innovative. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of connections. He's got a lot of ideas across in so many different ways, right? So for me, I'd add those three as the ones that I'm really keeping an eye on at the moment. But I'd probably say short term, I think Creeps are probably a play. But even saying that, I think Creeps longer term probably also have a play as well. Doodles, I can't get over the art. I just am such a fan of the art. I always have been. So I think if they're also building in the side, oh, that's definitely not the right connection. That's Doodles too.
That'd be nice, though.
Yeah, if these go back down towards 2, I think I might just try and pick one up. I think that's a great play. I've always loved the art. I think it's just so iconic, I suppose.
That was I do massive in the bull run last.
Exactly, they ran to 20 plus ETH. I'm pretty sure from memory. So I think they definitely could push towards 5 again in the future. Creeps, I do think with the supply squeeze, with the portal, once they confirm portals, there's only 150 listed for Creeps. So they're just the strongest plays that I'm looking at. Pixelmon is a rough odd one that I'm also looking at. They've got their upcoming game, but the captains, they have their potential rebranding of the art as well. Let me see if I can pull.
Are they going to rebrand the art? Are they?
Yeah, they are. So they're you've also got memecoin and memecoin that hasn't been dropped to potential NFTs. I haven't dived too much in the captain's ecosystem, but again, this is one that I am just sort of keeping my eye on at the moment, because we are starting to see a bit of interest in these. Okay, again, you can blur farm as well, and you might as well blur farm if you want to pick up these potential collections to farm that potential airdrop, which is only a couple months away now, guys. It's been around for a while, so definitely one to keep an eye on. But yeah, captains is the third one. I would probably prefer to pick up a Doodle and a Creeps than pick up one captains at this point of time. And then if I didn't have that, I'd probably look to maybe pick up a bit of meme coin just to have exposure to that ecosystem over time. But yeah, very interesting plays at the moment on ETH. As you said, liquidity and sort of interest seems to be heavily in the ordinal space, and obviously the more degenerate side is then in the Solana space. I'd say even more. We could talk about Say as well, Craig. Have you spent much time in the NFT side of Say?
No, I haven't. I know what's it. Sayans is one of the ones I see pop up all the time on the timeline. They seem to have a fairly strong community.
Yep, and there's Sayans, there's We Bump, there's what's the other one? The Colony, that's the OG collection. I'll see if I can bring it up. But yeah, Einstein, who I run the DJ and show, he's spent a lot of time, and Mad Rag as well, have both spent a lot of
Mhm.
time in the Say ecosystem. So this is Pallet.exchange. You just connect your either Compass wallet or your Kepler wallet to this. But We Bump, yeah, so they're down quite a lot already. So they're down at 2.2 thousand Say. They were up over 3,000 Say. So sort of similar narrative to what we're seeing with the puppets, that WeBump got access to early mints on Say, right? Now, Say
Okay.
doesn't see a lot of volume, so you're still very early, in my opinion, if the Say narrative continues pushing later into this year. And as you can see here, the Colony is probably the top collection in terms of just reputable PFP on the Say NFT blockchain. Sorry, Sayans is obviously very similar there pricing, and WeBump's the one that has a bit more utility to it in that space. So I'm keeping an eye there. I haven't spent too much time there again because me and you are very similar, Craig. I think we like to trade with liquidity, we like to trade with sentiment, and we like to trade with volume. And
Yeah.
I just like there's still volume here, but I think there's more volume on Bitcoin and there's more potential on Bitcoin, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same way. I think jumping on Say would be a more just getting in position really early.
Yes.
It just for me, it just would depend upon whether I'm happy for that liquidity to be locked up in that ecosystem for potentially longer than I'd like, because you just don't know when that ecosystem, if it will get looked at, or that chain, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
This run, will it get a look at? Is it going to be one that flies? Look, possibly, probably.
Yep. Yep.
But like you just said, I at the moment for me, no, those sayings weren't too expensive though. In saying that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of money, but I'm not sure if they qualify for any sort of whitelist or airdrops or anything like
No.
that. So then for me, it's like, okay, it's just well, not just a PFP, but it is just a PFP. Will communities want to rally around that hard enough for it to see some like FOMO rally or not?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just, and I kind of feel I'm just hesitant to spread myself too thin.
I agree.
And ordinals are taking up a fair bit of my time and they're doing quite well. So I'm like, look, if the hype's there, I'm enjoying it there.
Yeah.
The gains there are great. And the gains are coming in like what? You held your puppet for what? You flipped one of your puppets in like 3 days for almost $2,000.
Yeah.
Like now you can buy a Say-in for free, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
So opportunity cost, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
And I think this is where I'm going to go too. I think for us, the more sort of side of the market where we probably have more conviction, but also are hoping for that 5x to 10x returns is AVAX and Solana. I think we probably have missed the Say boat. Obviously, they have potential unlocks of their tokens later this year, which is very common for a lot of different collections. But that's one thing to always be considerate of in the Say ecosystem. And I mean, like, I would rather try and accumulate more Bitcoin using my NFT flips, right? Then probably try and accumulate more Say. I've got like Solana's definitely sort of why I like that sort of the side of the market that I'm more bullish on in terms of 5x. I would say Solana definitely 5x. I don't know if Say 5x is from here. And then my store of wealth would be then I want to have exposure to ETH and AVAX and Bitcoin, right? And so if I can flip over, like I said earlier in the show, if I can flip over a few NFTs on Bitcoin over the next couple of months, then turn 0.1 into 0.5 BTC, I'll be a very happy man because that's a lot of money. And I think I'd love to hold 0.1 BTC, even if I don't sell it this cycle, I just hold that till maybe 2030, right? And that could be a really strong play. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. BTC is very much nice here as well in this range, just consolidating sideways. And if it goes down, then it's even more reason to start flipping NFTs more and ordinals in that space. So yeah, really interesting, I think, at the moment. And if we do have a look here, there's, as you can see, like BTC still sees like second to most volume in the last week. Obviously, wash trading on ETH is taking up 45 mil, which is just stupid. But it's the BRC 20s as well on ordinals and on Bitcoin. Craig, have you spent much time in that side of the space?
I haven't. It's got my attention now. I'm starting to look now. I know a couple of guys, or one guy, I know Bells, shout out to Bells. He was pestering me about 8 weeks ago, saying you got to come over here, it's early, and he was probably right. I don't know enough about it to comment too much. I just know that I'm hearing enough things to make me think it's time to look there, because I think volume might start to go there. And once ruins and that starts to kick off, I wonder where the BRC20s are going to see a pump across the board. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if those seen, man.
Absolutely.
Just on speculation, with people like me coming there, people like you coming there, and then we talk about it, and it does. I don't think it's going to take a lot to move the dial there either.
For sure.
So early.
All right. Well, let's transition to Sol, because the crowd would like it. Troops, shout out to you, Troops. But also, I think it's a good transition. Now we've spoken about ordinals for quite some time, which is great, because again, you want to be, and we trade on sentiment, we trade on volume, we trade on users, we trade on interest. So what is hot right now, and that's definitely ordinals. But don't count out Solana. Obviously, they're still seeing a lot of love. But as you can see here, this is why Craig and I are on ordinal space. Look at these. These are top collections. Sorted by volume over the 1 month. Over the 1 month. So as you can see here, Solana, a lot of the top collections have been trending down. So that's not the best environment to be looking to trade on Solana, okay? And that's not even the best environment to try and flip like your potential airdrops on all these marketplaces. So Tensor, Sniper, and now Magic Eden as well. So again, this is what we're talking about. Like, you need to go with the flow, okay? So many people get stagnant because they get stuck only trading one potential market, and that flows. It might be only 2 months in the whole year that market is really productive, right? But going with the flow, not being afraid to learn something new, researching something else, understanding how to go about it, talking to new communities, all that type of stuff is definitely a way that me and you like to trade. And so we're seeing,
it's quite enjoyable, isn't it?
It is.
Dipping your feet, and hey, it may not pan out, but I kind of feel like even just dipping into ordinals, not to harp on about them, but just the learning I've got from that, even if the market goes dead now, that's cool. Like, at least I understand it. I didn't know much about it at all. And then I'll pivot back to Sol NFTs. As far as Sol NFTs go, I haven't given them a lot of my attention over the last 2 weeks, just like for the reasons you said. The volume wasn't there so much. Although there were a few, I suppose I did get into those penguins, and then what was it? What are those seal? What was that seal play? Whatever it was. Those 5-10x's, but then effectively pump and dumps. I mean,
to zero, and that's what we're looking at. Like, in the Solana space, it's that more degenerate side, the mint and flips, or the flips on the second pump, that sort of thing. Like, there's a few on this list that we have spoken about before, but that's where you're looking
odds, isn't it? It's about 8 out of 10 on the way down. So
pretty much, like, that's, and again,
you were smart enough to pick the two that pumped, 8 of them went down. So I'm not a good enough trader to pick that.
And you have to be so tuned in, and I think spending time in other places is what I'm looking at. The one thing I do want to speak about here is obviously the potential, if it wants to load on my screen. Let me just get out a couple of tabs to see if it works. But is the potential of art on Solana. Now, we obviously have art on ETH that is obviously huge, right? Art blocks, like so many, like punks you could throw in that conversation. You could throw in fidenzas, all that sort of thing. But a lot of people are priced out of that. So where I think if notable artists start to come to Solana, then we might see a lot more interest in this space. So we finally got this loaded. But I mean, like, these are pretty cool, but they're again, it's 12 SOL to get into this. Like, that's quite a lot of money. So very interesting to see if art on Solana does take off. Obviously, this is only a 1K supply. You've got pretty decent holders at 6.65%. Again, this is only on the 30-minute chart. So if we go zoom out a little bit, it looks like they are on a downtrend. Listings have come down, but look at that. Like, again, there are plays. Art is more slower moving than some of the other collections. But yeah, really interesting to see. So Frankie, shout out to you for being here. Thanks for being here, Frankie. But Frankie just said Saiyans are huge builders. They just built the tensor blur of the Say ecosystem with their beta MRKT aggregator release today, with benefits def coming to holders. So I really like that. So exactly. Once you start to see that, once it's more user friendly, because the pallet exchange isn't, from like a trader's perspective, it's quite shit, right? So you can't even track floor prices and volume and listings and all that sort of stuff. So that immediately puts it as no, I won't do that until there is a platform that might be easier to use as a trader perspective. So that's, again, another reason why I decided maybe not to go into the sort of the market. But yeah, really interesting at the moment, guys. Let's switch over to meme coins, Craig. I know that we spoke about this last week around just being probably in a quieter space at the moment, but again, we're seeing a lot of love still in the Solana ecosystems, in terms of the amount of love that they receive from volume every single day. GameStop's one that I was in just before. It seems to have come back down a little bit from the chart. So yeah, I'm looking at this as a potential bottom. I tweeted this out just before. This is bull flag after bull flag after bull
Yeah.
flag. Switch of structure here, guys. As you can see, we've got a high low there from this one here. So again, volume matters in your meme coins. So I'm waiting for volume to kick in nice on GME, but it did pump up to just shy of 50 mil earlier. So that would have been a nice 10% swing trade, but it has not held that. So I might look to see in the coming hours whether I do hold this or whether I just stop out for break even. But yeah, we're seeing I suppose like if you can get in early to potential like, look at this. Like, what is this rubbish? This is Dogecoin on Sol, right? Like, what is this? Like, and this is what I mean. If you can get in early to meme coins, which you have to be plugged in. You literally have to be watching Dex Screener on the new pairs. And then as soon as you see something that is obviously safe, it is secure, its contract is safe, but there's community sentiment on Twitter, there's maybe a few callers talking about it as well, then you're probably going to see 10x from that. But if you're getting in too late, like that's current prices at 1.4 million, like it's just a flip from 1.4. Like I would never buy something at this range right now.
No, yeah. Although watch it just send now. I have to say that.
Like, but, I mean,
me neither. You got, for me personally on meme coins, you have to be in sort of at that first little pump where it retraces and then gigasends there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not there, man, and you're getting in on that last fat candle you can see on the way up, Jesus, man, you're going to get stuck in that for probably ever, or you may get an exit pump to break even.
Yeah.
But why put yourself through that stress, man? And I've had it so many times when I'm like, this is the one, and it's not the one.
The one thing I will say about meme coins is that there's usually a narrative that goes around. I'm going to say either it lasts about a day or it lasts about a couple, like maybe a week, let's say. And so obviously last week, it was around let me think, around your God tokens and that sort of thing. The week before it was AMC and GameStop. Okay, now it looks to be look what's up the top, and this is what I do. I come to Dex Screener and I go and look at the top volume, as you can see on the screen here, guys. I go to the top here and I see what the volume is, because you want to trade with volume when you're charting these meme coins. Yeah, you're right. The chart is not clear. I couldn't agree more. So so there's no real, like, there's nothing here that interests me at all. But if you come to the top, look what the narrative is right now. It's Dogecoin, it's Shiba on Sol, and then it's Pepe on Sol, right? So you're seeing, like, again, someone creating some new again, like, probably, what do we call this? The 100th derivative of these projects. Goodness gracious me. So I don't know. There's a time and place for meme coins. Right now, I'm more convicted in my NFTs, deep diving into altcoins, which we'll speak on that very shortly, actually. Deep diving into potential low cap gems, okay, and maybe starting to think about going more risk on as the rest of the market starts to maybe ease off in a way. So meme coins for me right now just aren't really where you want to have your liquidity.
No, I don't think so. And I'm still seeing people, like a lot of the group chats I'm in, and you're in there as well, Greeny. There's lots of traders trading meme coins.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of people getting wrecked, man. There's a lot of people losing money out there. There's a lot of people making good money. But the thing I'm seeing at the moment is you've probably got 1-2 big movers for the week.
Yeah.
That do really well. And if you're not in those, you're pretty much cope playing and you're just getting wrecked on the 50,000 others that come out. So you would have seen that dog with hat got launched on Ethereum. Which I found quite humorous, because I had all the ETH maxis on my timeline saying we're so back.
Yeah, I know, same dude.
And that lasted about an hour, and then we were so not back. And the irony I saw of that is how Sol gets kind of branded with it's full of cheaters and poor people. I don't think I've ever seen something cheated as hard as that coin on Ethereum, man. So one thing I'd say to everybody out there: every chain's full of cheats, every chain's full of poor people. Don't get tricked into a chain lures and a certain kind of person, man. People like me are flipping with the same strategy no matter what the chain is. So
exactly, and I think that's such an important
starts
thing.
all narrative bullshit as far as I'm concerned.
I think is this the one? When did it launch? It launched on the 3rd. Is it 3 days old? It's older than.
The one on Ethereum would be 3 days old.
Okay, well then I think this is the one here. It's at 4.5 mil. I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is it
It
because
had a massive pump. I mean, from my understanding, the person who launched it might have sniped the living shit out of it and then been dumping bags, which
I
is,
have
by the
heard.
way,
Yeah,
every drop
yeah,
is
and
getting.
that's
I mean, if you're a dev, why wouldn't you snipe your own drop?
particularly if it's a
Why? Why
notable.
not?
Yeah,
I would.
correct. And
Fuck
if
it.
you're paying your bloody callers as well and all that sort of stuff, so like so many different things. Like, but yeah, as you can see here, guys, just not much interest. And again, look at ETH. Like, there's not much volume. There's not much movement in terms of ETH memecoin. So for us, it's either find something niche. So deep dive into altcoins, and we'll speak about that now.
Yeah.
Or go start flipping NFTs, trading NFTs, or start researching into a area, a category of crypto that you might not understand. So a DPIN comes into it. Solana, DeFi might be a topic.
Yeah.
Gaming might be a topic. Okay. And the last category that you could potentially do in a market sentiment or market conditions that we're seeing each other currently go through right now is looking at airdrops and maybe farming airdrops, because that is obviously a potential one. But Craig, let's shift to altcoins. If we do have a look across the last 7 days, we did see Link break out after a long time accumulation. We've seen Pith, so Pith is obviously so the two oracles are pumping, which is great to see. I actually don't have any Link, I don't think, in my portfolio at the moment, but I do have Pith.
Yeah. I don't have
Immutable.
Pith. I've been told. Had a few people DM me actually and say check this out on Pith, so I am going to start looking at it.
Yeah, I definitely have exposure to it. I got the airdrop with Mad Lads quite a while back, maybe a month or two ago. And it did, again, as an airdrop goes straight down. And what Jupiter's going down, guys. Like, what did I say? We literally called that on the show last week. It'll go down, and we have seen it go down. So if we look at Pith here, guys, classic. Like, it pumped a bit, went up to 0.5, went 50% like they always do, and now it's starting to trend back up to its all-time high. So Pith is definitely one I do have exposure to. I have just held it since I got the airdrop. I haven't bought more or anything like that. But yeah, very interesting plays. Outside that, Craig, we are seeing Immutable move up, which is great to see. So that's one of your sort of top marketplaces for NFTs and games, and also we both have exposure to that. So that's great to see. I am seeing Ronin pump quite aggressively because it got listed, or it is about to be listed on Coinbase and that sort of thing. So it means it's more accessible. It's one of your top gaming tokens, in my opinion. I picked some up on MEXC, I'm going to say maybe about a month ago. So yeah, I'm up a little bit as well. So that's great to see. But yeah, so I got it around, so maybe not, it was a 2x, but it has come down since then. But we're starting to see this. So my question to you, Craig, is what sort of altcoins are you looking at? What is it, a narrative that you're looking at? Is it, like, say, is it gaming? Is it DePIN? Is it AI? Is it Solana ecosystem? What are you really looking at?
At the moment, I'm just looking at my altcoin list. I wouldn't mind. Oh man, I'm just still it's going to be a boring answer for you, man. I'm still accumulating the ones that I speak about all the time.
Yep. No, that's fine, man.
I would like to. I need to look into gaming a little bit more. As far as gaming goes, I don't have that much. I mean, I've got ABAX. I've got what else do I have in gaming? IMX, I suppose you could say, somewhat close. Nakamoto. In. But apart from those, not really any others. So I would like to pick up a couple more gaming tokens, just for when I think that gaming narrative is going to come in. And I think these gaming tokens are going to pump regardless of what's dropped on them. I think it's just going to be narrative that pumps in rather than any sort of... Although I saw you were speaking about, was it yesterday you put a post up about, was it shrapnel?
Yes. So I was just about to pull up.
It looks cool.
I was just about to... hold on, here we go. So I released this video just last week. This is probably, I'm going to say, one of the most amount of times I spent on a video, because I actually did a bit of research. I didn't just go shill the bags that I currently own. I didn't just go and say, like, I'm buying Solana, I'm buying AVAX, I'm buying a meme coin here. I actually went in, I looked at what they're doing across several different of these topics that we're talking about right now. So it was gaming, it was AI was a big one for me as well, and then Solana ecosystem. So low cap altcoins with 100x potential. I actually spent a bit of time in there, and so yeah, I like the shrapnel's come down quite a lot. But if you think about the world in terms of how many gamers there are, you think about that type of game as well. So that's more COD based. So I do think shrapnel, another one that I spoke about recently, and I got a few more shorts coming out on my YouTube as well today and TikTok. But only got 30 followers on TikTok, but that's right. Is Off the Grid. And so if they do, it's sort of a competitor to Shrapnel as well. Again, AVAX Gaming, that sort of thing as well. There's a few Arbitrum games that I spoke about in that video as well on the screen here. So it's this one just here, guys. And those are the ones that I think are a great sort of value point right now, in terms of they have the narrative, they have the backing, they obviously maybe have some capital behind them, they are building, and what they're sort of showing me is that their product actually looks kind of legit. So if there is either a token that's already there in Shrapnel's case, or a potential of a token for Off the Grid comes up, then that's what I really do like the potential of, where I think we could see a lot of money go. Before I go back to you, Craig, there are some other ones that I just want to speak about, and that's Solana. Solana, what am I trying to say? Ecosystem, but DeFi. And so Jupiter came out last week, and shout out to Nick in my Discord for giving me SpiderSwap. And so SpiderSwap is very much in a beta phase, but they are essentially what Jupiter is, but on a way smaller scale. And so we got into this, I'm going to say about a week ago. I don't know, we got down here at about 40 million, sorry. And so it's up at nearly 70 million already. So again, it's okay. Maybe Jupiter's come in. Maybe I missed Jupiter. I did miss Jupiter. I didn't get any airdrop at all, okay, across my wallet. So hopefully in 2025, I get some Jupiter airdrop. But it's what narrative is really hot, and what sort of narrative underneath that is going to follow that, because it has the same sort of play, right? And so that was SpiderSwap. And another one is Shadow on as well on Solana. It obviously hasn't pumped as much as your SpiderSwap, but these are the sort of narratives, because this is your AI, your data, your storage on Solana. And so for me, I'm like, okay, well, that's huge, not only in Web 2, but also just in crypto. So why not have exposure to something like this? So those are really the sort of plays that I'm looking at, Craig. How about you? Are you looking now, now that we speak about it, what narratives do you think maybe are the ones that really interest you for the next 6 to 12 months?
Probably gaming and DeFi.
Yep.
Gaming and DeFi. Probably DeFi sooner than gaming.
I kind of agree. And why would you say that?
DeFi? I think we're going to have a DeFi run soon.
Okay, on ETH or Solana or both? Or
I actually think it won't be as strong on ETH. I think it's going to be Solana will be where I pick the biggest gains to be. Other chains as well, but I think Solana is probably going to lead this bull run in every category. It'll lead that narrative, and then you're going to have AVAX DeFi pump, or you're going to have AVAX gaming pump after Solana. I think Ethereum will. I just think Solana's man. I guess I am a Solana maxi, but I'm not it's not a religion to me.
Yeah.
The narrative's just too strong, man. So for me, Solana DeFi, I need to look into it more. It's only sort of in the last week. It's sort of funny. You sort of, when you've been in the space a little bit of time, you can kind of feel the rhythm of the space, and I'm feeling DeFi. I haven't got much rhyme or reason. It's just a feeling. So I'm going to start looking at that. What about yourself? Are you?
Yeah, I think gaming's longer term, because obviously if you think about it, gaming takes quite a while to build, quite a while to drive users and liquidity too. So I do agree. I think I just hold a lot of my gaming tokens, and I do speak about them in that video as well. So do check it out. I do think Solana ecosystem and DeFi is just a no-brainer. Like, people are getting airdrops left, right, and center. Yeah. We're seeing the Backpack Exchange, which is sort of built by, I'll just pull it up just to show you guys what it looks like. I do have a referral for that in the description of the YouTube video as well. But yeah, it's like this is where you got your Pith airdrop. It's where you can it's starting to really build. Okay, so they've got memes on there. They've got their top. So Jitto obviously is on there. Jupiter's on there. So you can stake on the platform too, and then potentially drive some further potential rewards or airdrops in the future. So Backpack Wallet is definitely one that I am keeping an eye on in terms of the DeFi side as well, because again, it's Solana, and that this is sort of directed around the Mad Lad sort of ecosystem as well. So it's like, okay, don't fade what's clearly in front of you, right? And that's Solana ecosystem. Outside that, Spoke about gaming. I do think Deepin's one that I really want to dive into. I haven't spent too much time in that aspect, but yeah, I think it's definitely a narrative that is really starting to hit my timeline quite aggressively. We've seen obviously Miles come out and speak about it quite frequently the past couple of weeks, but it's just a very interesting space. I do think AI is one that you want to get into. I know I mentioned this. I sent Craig a DM yesterday about AI because I actually went out on Saturday with one of my really close friends, and we caught up for brunch, and it ended up being a 3-hour conversation because we spoke about the beauty of AI, and he's integrated it into his Web2 job. And so I was like, shit, am I missing out on this? And he's like, yeah, dude, you need to be using this every day. It's like what Google was like 10 years ago. Okay. And if you weren't using Google, you've fallen behind. And now if you're not using, say, ChatGPT, or you're using other AI for other purposes, then you really are kind of starting to fall behind. And so I showed Craig some of the shorts that you've seen on the timeline. I've used a AI platform for that to help sort of digest like a stream like this and chunk it into shorts that are really easy to digest. So it's, if you're not using it, you probably are putting yourself at a disadvantage. So that's really interesting. So I do think that maybe starts to translate into Web3 over time. So those are sort of the narratives that I'm really looking at in that space at the moment.
Also, I forgot to mention earlier, there's a DIM airdrop will be coming for people. Oh, yes. That's this week. I can't remember the day. And that's for people that held ordinals in their wallet. So luckily I qualified for that. I forgot I even had them. But yeah, that's going to hit this week. So it'll be interesting to see what that does as far as liquidity / pumps into the ordinal space in general. Will people sell off that and then pump other bags? Yeah. It's another one to keep to, but it's that sort of stuff that is the reason why I'm so bullish on ordinals as well, with drops like this. Bitcoin hasn't had this. There hasn't been things like this. Not yet. So it's pretty cool. And I mean, I was in a DeFi play on Bitcoin last bull run. It's a token called SOV, Sovereign. So that's a DeFi lending protocol for Bitcoin, where I've had mine staked for 3 years because the bear market hit and I didn't have a choice. So I'm accruing a lot of that. But I'm just saying that was the only DeFi play on Bitcoin 3 years ago. And now there's just more and more coming, and I can feel it. And I'm like, man, I think, Bitcoin's got me juicy, man. So I'm probably, for me at the moment, probably Sol and Bitcoin.
Yes. And I'd agree with you. And that's why
I didn't think I'd say Bitcoin. If you asked me 6 months ago, 2 years.
Can I say I didn't own any Bitcoin until I spoke to a few of my groups, because I am more risk on, and I'm more like, okay, well, Solana's going to make me more money. But then I understand that the store of wealth of Bitcoin moving into the next few years, particularly now the ETFs are approved, all that. We're seeing the amount of capital that's coming in and out every single day of these ETFs. So I think you want to have exposure to Bitcoin because it is number one. There's no doubt about it. Like, it is number one. ETH, as we've seen, is starting. No, I'm not saying ETH. I still love ETH. Don't get me wrong. I want to maybe, you're seeing me. I want to maybe buy a creep or buy a doodle right now. But for me, Solana has come along and said, stuff you, ETH. I'm here to take the reins, really. So Solana and Bitcoin, like you said, are the two that I'm really focusing on at the moment. I think it's just a play. And again, you want to go where the market tells you to go and follow that, because you're losing out if you aren't doing those sorts of things. So
I see really nice. People, sorry to jump in. A lot of people that sort of, in some of the group chats I'm in, you sort of get people that are, say, invested in a particular chain, and it gets to the point of stubbornness. Where they sort of waiting the whole time for another chain to dip to say, see, I told you so. But it's like, the thing is, if you look at all chains, they're going to have highs and lows, all of them. So at some point you're going to be right, and some point you're going to be wrong. Probably my takeaway is probably be adaptable and be open to new things, and be open to the fact that you may be wrong currently, which doesn't mean you won't be wrong in a year. But the opportunity cost of not being open-minded can be quite large. And myself, if I just stuck with ETH this last year and not dabbled in Solana, man, I would be thousands down.
And I think you would have lost interest. You would have lost interest in the space.
I would have got bored. So yeah, man, there's a lot of money to be made. And if you can, and the thing is, when you're getting into these new chains, it comes with new hype, new excitement, and there's actually easier exits to hit. And then if you're an ETH maxi, use those other chains to fill your ETH bags, make money here, convert it into ETH, which is what I've done with Solana. I'm just growing my Solana bag by playing there, and Bitcoin now. So, man, I think all chains, there's a lot of money to be made in all chains. So I'd be open to that, guys. It's there's a lot of money out there.
And speaking of money, guys, Craig and I have driven the floor of the Bitcoin puppets up 0.01 BTC. So if you've made a bit of profit, please donate some to Craig and I, because we obviously have driven that floor up quite a lot in the past hour.
Puppets, eh? You bastard.
Dude, unbelievable. God damn. If we were,
that was my exit there now. So that's sad to see.
Yeah, you're back at break even on your bloody entrance. I'll keep an eye on that. That's definitely one. But one other topic I want to talk to you about today, Craig, is obviously Firecaster. So that's a new social Fi platform that's come out. Obviously, you have dabbled in it. So I just want to talk and get people sort of talking about it and your experience on there so far. Obviously, from the outside, I haven't spent time on there. I haven't set one up just yet. But it's similar to Twitter in a way, with a few obviously tweaks on there. Do you think it outlasts some of the other social Fi sort of plays that we've seen over the past 6 months? I put a tweet out maybe early this week about, so when are we getting this friend tech airdrop? Lol, rug. So we'll see if that ever eventuates.
Radio silence there, eh? Those bastards.
Dude, I know it's just crazy, but yeah. So and that's another reason why base. I'm like, we'll see how that L2 goes. But yeah, I mean, there could be other potential players on base. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of Firecaster, Craig, is it is it like Twitter but decentralized? Like, how's it all work? And how's the user like the platform? Like, have you been enjoying it? Do you think it has potential?
Look, I don't know nearly enough about it to speak with any conviction. The reason why I went over there, A, I had a few people I know go over there. B, there's a token where if you refer people, it's called warps. Mm-hmm. So you earn warps. So I kind of wonder where there'll be an airdrop of warps for early for people that were early. I know people that got in there. Shout out Rocket Girl. She was one of the first 5,000. Her username apparently is going for about 2 ETH at the moment.
Wow.
So it's one of those, it is FriendTech 2.0, but if you have a look at the interface of it, it's a lot nicer. Yeah. It's a lot easier to use. It's basically, from what I'm seeing, man, it's a Twitter clone with a potential airdrop token. It does have something pretty cool if you go onto it called Frames.
Yeah.
Now, I want to give a quick shout out to a guy called Zuff. He's an artist, great dude. He got me onto this. He was talking to us about Frames it might even be a month ago, and they were about 0.2 Ethereum, and I think they might be about 3 ETH now.
Oh my God. Are they on Blur?
Fucking didn't buy it. They're on Base, I think.
Oh, okay. Hold
ETH or Base. And basically what he was saying to us is the early adopters of Warpcast got given frames, OG frames, which from my limited understanding, the frames, if you hold a frame, it then qualifies you for airdrops.
Yeah.
E.g. a frame's almost like a portal that you hold where artists or anyone dropping tokens can basically send you free shit.
Yeah.
Same thing we see everywhere, man.
Yeah.
But just a new tech. Is it a new tech? I don't know enough about it, but there's a lot of artists now dropping frames to the users. So you can pick up a frame, which is then, I guess, a key or gateway. I guess you can think of it like an NFT that then qualifies you for drops and things like that. So, man, if you go to OpenSea and look up OG frames.
OG frames, yeah.
I think it's called that, or Frames OG.
Oh, Frames. Oh, one. Yeah, dude. The amount of bloody scams.
Yeah, the problem with searching this is you can never find the friggin'. That's not it.
Nah.
I can never find out. But man, I think it's 2 ETH plus now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And he gave it to me at 0.2, so I'm kind of licking my wounds there, man.
Yeah.
Because that was a sweet play for people that got in at that. But no, that's the reason why I'm over there. Man, it feels like it's new wrapping paper on an old tech or an old play. But I need to learn a lot more about it. But long story short, artists are going over there. They're starting to reward their users by giving the users frames and then sending art to it. So,
yeah,
anytime I see artists going there to a narrative to build and flip and find new users for their art, I'm keen to be there because I'm keen to flip their art.
Yeah.
Slash coins, slash I'll flip anything, man. You're the same.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
So yeah, but a bit of a friend tech play, but for me, a lot nicer. It's easier to play with, and just I guess another opportunity to hit a certain subsection of people that I don't have contact with.
Yeah.
So I can reach a new audience, I guess, is what I'm trying to say in a long-winded way. So no, I don't know enough. Next time I chat to you guys, when we do this next week, I'll come back with a lot more info on frames. I'll do a deep dive just to do our listeners justice. But I would definitely say in the meantime, go there. It's free to get on there. So, man, there's no reason not to be there. Go there, dabble, play, because God, if we can cop an airdrop just for signing up, I'm keen, man. I'm keen.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, dude. And
are you over there, Greeny? You're over there?
Not yet. No, I might sign up later today if I get a chance. I'm so busy right now with a few different things.
Man. And it's so hard to another social media platform. I'm like, dear God, I've been through this with friend tech. Yeah. And it took up a lot of my time. And don't get me wrong, that was a good experience.
Yes. Yeah.
But sort of when the bull runs kind of, I don't know, man, there's just so much at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I think this is, for the listeners, I think this is probably the place to go. So probably good you brought this up.
Yeah. Okay, cool. There you go, guys. A bit of alpha on the end
get
of
on
the
there.
show.
I think it could be pretty cool. And it's free. You don't have to put any money in. So that's a great thing.
Exactly. And that's obviously the best part. And do you connect a wallet to it? Or what chain is it on?
You can. You don't have to. Yeah, the fucking puppets. Shout out to that. Yes, you can. I haven't connected a wallet to sign up, you don't have to. I actually think it generates you a wallet.
Okay.
But it didn't give me a seed phrase or anything like that.
Are we talking, sorry, which blockchain are we on?
Man, I don't even know what that was talking about when it generated one for me. I think it's going to, I don't know. I might connect to, I think it might be Base, but
okay.
I haven't connected the wallet. I just saw no need for it. And I kind of just wanted to get on there, sign up. It didn't force me to connect a current wallet, which I liked.
Yeah.
So I kind of more wanted to get on there and get my hands dirty. But I'm not too sure, bro. I'm not too sure what chain we're even talking about.
Yeah, no, well, there you go. I'll deep dive into it a little bit later, see if I want to sign up for that sort of thing. It's always hard starting on a new platform, in my opinion, because
it takes time.
And I think, it takes time. It takes a lot of effort because you're essentially driving users to something maybe that they haven't either used before or that they don't have previous experience using. And so a classic example for me is trying to translate my Twitter audience onto my YouTube channel. And it's not very direct. And then obviously YouTube to TikTok or TikTok to YouTube. And a lot of people obviously sort of find satisfaction in one or the other. And so it's always hard. Like even when Friend Tech started, there's always this sort of difficulty because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm seeing like influencers on there, that sort of thing. But yeah, again, those influencers on Friend Tech were the ones that were able to turn over the fees and make more money than someone who is up and coming, right? So you need to think about these sort of things if you are someone that doesn't have a large following and that sort of thing, because it does come into it at the end of the day.
Ethereum. It's Ethereum.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, good to see people still building on Ethereum at the end of the day. So thoughts on Dupe. We did touch on it a little bit. I did have a look at the chart just before. We're holding that 0.5 level. We're floating between 0.5 and 0.55 sort of range. So I do think if we can hold that, we do push up maybe slightly, but usually they do come down 50%. The beauty of Dupe is that only a certain amount of supply was dropped on the blockchain. You do have a lot of conviction plays on Dupe in terms of people just wanting to hold it for the cycle as well. So, I don't know. Dupe might not play out like a normal airdrop. So that could be one to keep an eye on. Craig, anything else you wanted to cover today?
No, not really. I think we covered a lot. I think everybody just sell your puppets, man, so I can get an entry. If I could ask everyone just to start selling, that'd be fantastic. Other than that, no, man, I think we've covered everything we need to, and unfortunately, we've pumped my bag. So yeah, back to the drawing board. So now I'll be looking more into what's it called, Warpcast.
Yeah.
And a bit more into ordinals and a bit more into DeFi. Sort of my focus at the moment.
Yep, love it. Oh, well, as always, Craig, thanks for being here, mate. I do appreciate it. And thanks for everyone else for tuning in today, guys. Obviously, if you are new here, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube, or you can follow us on Twitter. Both of us have an account. We share each other's content all the time. So we love doing this show every sort of week. So yeah, please follow us. Please like the video both on Twitter and on YouTube. It does support us. And we'll be back next week, guys. So cheers for being here. And yeah, let us know how you found the alpha in the comment section below.